Hey everyone, this is Michael with the general reading intended for Leo Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I apologize that this is coming out so late. I actually did post in the community tab on my YouTube page as well as Facebook, but for those of you who didn't see it, long story short, I just had a lot happen at the start of this month. Obviously, everyone has. I just had some situations arise with family and friends, and everything is okay now. I relatively speaking, everything is fine. I'm actually in a pretty good place. I've also just been busy with more clients than usual, and I've really just kind of had to accept, because of the circumstance we find ourselves in with quarantine and the pandemic, I'm just not able to function at the level I'm used to working at. I'm not going to be able to work at 100% capacity. And really, that's going to be true for everybody, but especially when you're doing this delicate, intuitive work. So I am going to be taking some time off from personal readings and Reiki sessions. Those will be back on April 22nd, so I won't be gone for too long. I actually did receive a download on the full moon a couple days ago, and that was in my first house in Libra, so it's not a surprise that I was being told by my guides I needed to take time for me. And I actually am going to be doing a lot of really deep meditation and shadow work and reflection throughout this time. That's really my intention there. And I trust that it's going to just benefit all of you, my audience, and my clients. So I hope that that's going to be helpful. And I hope that's actually something that you're all looking forward to, because I feel like things are going to be changing on my channel and with my content in some exciting ways. They actually already have. For those of you who haven't been following me on Instagram, I have been posting messages of the day kind of sporadically, and I'd like to continue doing that. I'd also love to do some more live content as well and kind of just engage with all of you more. And I think I really just need to kind of get attuned to this energy that I've already been receiving, and then really work with it, kind of do the install period now. So I'm going to be taking that time off to do all of that, and I'm hoping to kind of be operational towards the end of the month. That's kind of what I was told, about 2 weeks. So in the meantime, if you haven't been following me on Instagram, check me out on all of that, or on there, and all of my social media. All of those links are in the description box down below. And again, my services will be available on the 22nd for those of you who are interested. I am really curious to see what comes up for you, Leo. I actually am doing something a little bit different with that wanted to come out, with the readings this month, because I'm actually doing the Black Mirror readings. These are technically timeless readings. They're more geared towards our psycho-spiritual growth and development. I was kind of talking about shadow work earlier, so this is kind of a good way to look at yourself, figure out your subconscious, the ways you are kind of sabotaging yourself, or maybe holding yourself back. Ooh, okay. What are the messages here for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? And for these readings specifically, these Black Mirror readings, I actually do recommend looking at your moon sign, either in addition to, or maybe even looking at that as the main message for you, because the moon sign does represent our emotions. It represents our subconscious and what isn't always readily apparent or visible. And that's really what this Black Mirror is about, trying to identify these patterns and trying to integrate. And they could be affecting any area of your life: career, love, anything. Maybe even health. I have a feeling health readings are going to become much more popular. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Leo. So the cards we have on the table here, we do have the Queen of Swords and the Chariot kind of coming in as overall energy. This is really interesting for quarantine and for lockdown, because honestly, Leo, I feel like there's this trajectory. And it's like you've made your mind up on something, you've made a decision on something, Whether or not you're actually able to proceed with this right now, there might be some delays or some blockages, is going to depend on your specific situation. If you are in lockdown or quarantine, there could very well be a delay here, but it's like you made this decision. And you were really trying to push forward with something. Or maybe you decided to do that in quarantine. But there's just this very clear sense of direction here. At least in your mind. Because in your reflection, you have the Sun, which is actually your card in the reverse. I don't always read reversals with this spread. But it's like you're very unsure of yourself. And I feel like, Leo, a lot of you might be trying to distract yourself. By keeping yourself busy or just trying to do a lot. Maybe some of you can't help it. Maybe some of you are essential workers. Or you're still working. There's definitely this warrior energy, actually. And I want you to be really... I want you to pick and choose your battles. And for a lot of you, I'm just feeling like this is actually a family situation or a home situation. And that's not just because we're all stuck at home. Like, it feels like it's family members, specifically. Because I do have this Ten of Cups here, and for some reason this is making me think family more than, like, a romantic partner, but maybe if you live with them, that could possibly be the case. And it's going to be different for all of you. We're really kind of looking at the underlying pattern more than the specific manifestation of how this is occurring in your life. But overall, Leo, it's like mentally you have this plan, and it's almost like you're trying to push yourself through it with this Queen of Swords and this Chariot, but it's like in your heart you're lacking this clarity. You don't know how you feel. And it's almost like you're just trying to power through it. You're trying to not be here so much because it's stressful or painful. And you do rule over the heart. This is your card, the Sun, and it's a lot to do with the heart. And you need your heart, Leo. That's where you operate from. Some of you are really trying to abandon that right now. And for your blind spot, we have Judgment. It's like you think you've gone somewhere or you're over something or someone, but then it comes back and it just suddenly makes you second guess that. And it's funny, Leo, because the way you resolve this, kind of the crack in the mirror is what we call it. We have the Ten of Cups. This is about connection. It's like some of you, I think some of you are avoiding having a certain conversation because it just doesn't feel like the right time. But I almost feel like in trying to avoid it, Leo, it's just going to be more of a confrontation, more of a fight, and more of a blow-up. And I'm not saying come in with this aggressive energy, because there is a strong warrior energy here with this Queen of Swords and this Chariot card. But I actually want you to kind of melt. And I want you all to really pay attention to your own body as you're talking to people, or as you're working or trying to do whatever it is that you need to do this month, or whenever it is that you find this video. If you have this area of tension, you kind of need to take that as a sign that there's this tightness, there's this restriction in your energy. When you have that kind of loose or even open feeling, that's when you know you have an energy flow. I want to clarify this Judgment card. Queen of Wands. Feels like your energy again. Tell me more. And Page of Swords. Yeah, there's a lot of restless energy for sure. So Leo. I think some of you think you're over something, and you're not. And if I'm not mistaken, this was kind of similar to last month's reading. I think it was specifically about a relationship, so this could be a love reading for some of you, but it could also just be another type of relationship. It doesn't have to be romantic, it doesn't have to be any one specific situation, but it's like something is coming back to you and you thought you were kind of over it, you thought you were past it, and now you're not so sure. And there's this defensiveness, but I actually want you to kind of melt to that, because I think there's a conversation at the very least that needs to be happening here, and I don't think it can happen if you're coming in with this sort of aggressive mindset or energy. And really kind of softening what you think you should do. Because there's a lot of doubt here with this Judgment in reverse. And even with the Page of Swords and Queen of Wands, there's kind of that fight, that fire, that intensity. I feel like it actually comes from a place you don't even realize, though. There's like this wound that's been activated in you by a situation or a relationship, and you're acting more from that wound than the situation itself. And the way to kind of proceed here is really softening. And it's funny, you know, we do have Venus going retrograde in May through June, and we're already in that pre-shadow phase right now. Ordinarily, it's not a great time for relationships. It's almost like there's a lot of tests and there's a lot of lessons, and the way Venus retrograde works, it can also be a make or break moment. And if your approach has been very aggressive or very strong or very direct, it's actually been coming from kind of a malignant place. And you really need to kind of soften and slow down here. And I'm going to be honest, when I saw the Queen of Wands and the Page of Swords, it's almost like someone insulted you or hurt your ego. I actually just heard the message, not enough attention. And I'm going to be honest, Leo, people are going through a lot. Yeah, you really need to see things from a different perspective. Hanged Man clarifying this 10 of Cups. You really do need to slow down and take a look at things. It's not necessarily what you think. And I think in your heart you sort of know that. And I'm not actually seeing you doing anything with this, but like just being open and just kind of considering things, pondering things. You have the Hanged Man here. It's not so much about doing. So don't try and distract yourself. Definitely don't try and jump into a relationship, not with Venus retrograde. I feel like there's going to be so many people in quarantine who are talking to people online or on dating apps, and then they're going to end up meeting these people in a couple months or maybe sooner, who knows, but I think it's going to be longer than that. Or you'll meet them, things will seem fine, and then you kind of realize they weren't who you thought they were. So again, don't rush into anything. You want to go fast. You have the Chariot. You kind of started out with that energy, but you're ending with the Hanged Man, which is really frustrated. So don't be too quick to react here. And we literally can't. Like so many of us can't. We can't rush things right now. We have literally all been put in this Hanged Man energy. And it's literally about what I was talking about, gaining a new perspective on things. The universe has really stepped in. And our daily lives have been shut down because so many of us were manifesting change for so long. We wanted a different job. We wanted to feel different at work, but we continued going to the job we slaved at. We wanted to be in relationships that felt good, but we stayed with people who made us feel less than, made us feel unworthy, or just made us feel disconnected. We didn't feel truly connected with them. We didn't make the changes we needed to make. And now our lives have had to literally come to a stop for the vast majority of us. In some way, our routine has been affected. It doesn't matter who you are, really. Because you need to look at your life and really see what is and isn't working. And I don't even know how that's going to actually end for all of you, because the message isn't so much about what you're going to do. It's about you getting back in touch with your heart, your emotions. You've lost touch with yourself with this Sun in reverse. And you've just been kind of doing what you think you're supposed to be doing with that Queen of Swords and the Chariot. So, this is actually a really beautiful time to reconnect with yourself, to reconnect with your own heart. And that can be challenging, especially when you haven't done that for a long time. But I want you to really be open to that, because there's a wellspring there, and it can actually open up relationships. It may seem like you're going to ruin a relationship by doing this. Some of you could actually really deepen a connection or rekindle something. But you have to get back in touch with your own heart first. I'm not sure why the screen is rotating like that. That's actually kind of weird. Finding our alignment, I suppose. Anyways, Leo, that is the message for you this month. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. I really, really appreciate that. It actually does help this channel grow. It's a great way to support this and get these messages out there. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care.